Hey guys, I am Game Advisor and welcome back to another Icarus update video. Today we're going to be talking about the week 18 update, which is all about the new ore scanners and a new mission that they've implemented along with it. So with that being said, let's get started. Now, the first thing we want to talk about is this little message they have here at the top, which essentially breaks down to them saying that, hey, we want to make more expansive missions, we want to flush out tier 4, and we want to add new things to the game. But in order for us to do that, they need to work on their foundation for the game so that they have resource management and other things like that balanced out to a good spot. So with that being said, they're currently going to be implementing the ore scanners with this update, as we talked about earlier, in order to help address that issue, along with a few other updates over the next several weeks in order to address the base resource balance issues that the game has been having and the way that you get to tier 4 and craft those tier 4 things. But before they can really work on that, like we said, they have to balance out the actual foundation of the game first, which I think is a really good thing to do, and I'm glad the devs are doing this. The first thing to take notice of is that they've now added ore deposits outside of caves. These give you different amounts of ore at different speeds based on what they are. So just to give you a little bit of an example, we did a quick test with this. For copper, it took us about 1 minute to get 1 ore, and for gold, it took us about 1 minute and 20 seconds to get 1 ore. Your experience may vary, as they may change some of this balance as time goes on, but just take note that the lower tier ores like copper and iron are probably going to be pretty quick to get, where the higher tiers like gold, titanium, and platinum are probably going to be significantly harder, or at least take significantly longer when we're talking about getting large amounts of these. Now, it's worth clarifying here that this doesn't mean that they can only be outside caves. They can basically be anywhere in your world. So in order to find them, they've given us a few new tools here, which is going to be the new scanning technology they've implemented. We've got the tier 3 cave scanner, which is basically a replacement for Icarus Intel, if I'm being completely honest here. And the fact that it's basically a little device you can create in tier 3 that kind of beeps as you get closer to caves. However, you are going to have to find a cave to craft one of these, since it does require iron and copper and stuff. But it's a nice step in the right direction, as I know a lot of players have complained about being able to find caves, especially early on. I'd like to see maybe a more crude version of this tool. I don't really know how we'd implement that in an earlier stage, just because I know people in tier 1 and tier 2 are when they're going to have this issue of finding caves, and it would be nice if before we have to get iron and copper and gold, we could find our first cave somehow. Granted, like I said, it is a good thing to have. I still think a lot of players are going to just decide to go over to Icarus Intel because it's simply easier. It is actually pretty accurate though, so if you don't want to use Icarus Intel, this will work very well in tier 3. Basically, it's directional. It will beep faster as you go towards the right direction, or beep slower if you're going in the wrong direction. It's very useful and very nice to have. They've also implemented a deep mining ore scanner and an advanced deep mining ore scanner. The way these work is relatively simple, and what you're going to do with them is you're going to be able to activate them and choose which ore you want to find. These will find deep mining ore nodes of the ore you're looking for, point you in the direction, and give you a percentage of how close you are to it. Once you reach 100%, you should basically be standing on top of it, and then you can place your little drill on there, put in some fuel or some power, depending on which one you're using, and get it going. I think it's great that they've added these, especially now that deep ores are mostly going to be found outside of caves. However, I do think it should be kind of balanced in some way, and I think that maybe having like some of the higher tier ores like platinum and stuff should only be able to be found in caves. I can't say if this is 100% how they're going to make it work in the future, but personally, it's something I would like to see. I do think that copper and iron need to be sped up to make it worth it for some of these missions. 1 minute per ore is just honestly too long. It should not take you 1 full minute to get 1 ore. That is absolutely ridiculous. Most of the time with the cave definer, or even actually using Icarus Intel, you can go mine 5 caves in the time it takes you to get 20 ore from a node. It's too long for it to actually be useful in the game's current meta. Again, they may have different plans for this in the future, but I would personally just like to see some change there. Along with all of this, of course, they've added a new mission, which is called Meridian Extraction. Long story short here, you're going to drop into the mission and it's going to give you access to all the new tools. So if you just want to check them out, go do this mission and you can get a feel for them in your very own experience. It's very nice to have. It's a very great way to learn how they all work. Otherwise, it's a pretty short mission, so you really won't take that long to actually get it completed and get an experience with these new tools. Now, we will be putting out a a video about this mission, probably sometime around Monday or Tuesday. So if you guys want to wait until then to see the most efficient way that you can complete it, or the best way in our personal opinion, we post all the new missions as quickly as we can for you guys so that you guys can get them done in a timely and efficient manner. They do also mention the feature upvote. If you didn't know, this will take you to a little page that will allow you to upvote which features you want to be added to the game first. This gives the devs an idea of their priorities and what they should be focusing on. So it's a good place to go if you want to know what Icarus is really considering doing and what the player base actually wants. Aside from all of that, we do have the changelog, which basically just boils down to all the things we just have already talked about, and it also talks about the fact they fixed a lot of different bugs and some issues we've actually experienced. But hey, regardless, if that's something you're interested in, you can read that yourself. I'm not going to go through the 30 to 40 different bug fixes. There's lots of little ones, there's some crash fixes, and there's some bugs that we've personally experienced, so I'm glad they're continuing to work on that, as it's an issue that's going throughout the whole game, and I'm glad to see that they're making the game playable for all players and making it feel not so clunky and buggy like it did at launch. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, keep an eye out for that mission guide. We're going to be putting it out probably on Monday or Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Game Advisor, and I'll see you next time.